that even more than Putin is Xi Jinping who has the cards. It is China which is trying to emerge as the peace broker. And the China negotiated outcome could heavily favor Russia. You scarcely expect a China negotiated outcome to favor America. If China is holding the cards, do you trust China, Peter? China is going to help Putin, not Biden.
Well, China is calling for a ceasefire. And the point that American leaders keep making is that if ceasefire right now actually supports Russia much more than Ukraine.
But Americans don't have a choice.
Russia controls much of the Donbass.
But America doesn't have a choice. Yeah. You know, Zelensky's become so corrupt.
If the Ukrainians are willing to keep fighting,
and the Ukrainian government has become so corrupt and so fed by so much money and infighting, and their financial needs are just skyrocketing.
Ukraine has always been corrupt.
But more corrupt now than ever before.
Well, there's more money available now than ever before.
That's the point. Tatiana, how do you look at it from Moscow? Is this a step towards the ending of the war or something else?
Good evening, Arnab. Well, look, I don't think that our American friends are ready to handing the towel just yet, you know. Okay. Despite my best hopes for this outcome, and I've told you, I think I told you a year ago, and I will tell you now that, you know, unfortunately, until there's an end to the endless military supplies that the US continues to make money on, there's not going to be any negotiation about anything. But you remember the last time that President Putin offered a ceasefire, an end to hostilities, to allow the Orthodox Christians to celebrate Christmas. And what did the Ukrainian side do? They continued firing. Any negotiation, any type of compromise can only come from two sides. If there's only one side invested in this, it's never going to happen.
See, Peter, I find Xi very untrustworthy, and from an Indian perspective, you know, I think that China does not respect other nations' sovereign territory, and which is why, you know, we need to counterbalance them globally. However, in the present situation, if you look at the situation internationally, Peter, I think America's sort of, you know, I would say shot itself in the foot. China just negotiated a peace deal between Riyadh and Tehran. America lost out. Biden went all over to try and make up with Saudi Arabia. It did not help. Now you have Saudi Arabia, Iran, Moscow, Beijing, all becoming one bloc, and large other influential nations, powers, great powers like India, defending our own national interest. So I don't know what is the West really achieved. I mean, if you look at the sum total, Peter, I know you've been a cynic, but is America living under some kind of illusion on this?
Biden came to office saying he was going to reestablish American hegemony. The United States will be back #1.
Who?
Well, that hasn't happened. And you know, it's important to realize that most of the world is not going along with U.S. sanctions.
It's not.
2/3 to 3/4 of the world population are not supporting U.S. sanctions.
Yes.
Only 33 countries are. And so the United States, while it's not weak and isolated, the United States is not able to assert itself in a multipolar world the way it was for 3 decades when the U.S. was the unipolar power. Russia can challenge the United States to some extent militarily, and China is challenging the United States economically and now diplomatically. I mean, the deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia was in many ways a game changer. China is going to play a new role in the world now. And Xi Jinping's visit to Moscow on the heels of the Iran-Saudi deal is a very important global diplomatic development. If Xi can negotiate a peace deal between you, and he's going to talk to Zelensky next, then Xi will be up for the Nobel Peace Prize, and he'll deserve it if he can broker a peace here. That's what the world wants. Most of the world does not want to see more fighting.
So then, in a way,